Thank you for listening to the Golden Hour Drip podcast with me, Logan Lee Miller. Enjoy the show. Welcome back to the Golden Hour Drip podcast. I'm your host, Logan Lee Miller. Happy Friday. We've made it. I don't know what you're doing this Friday, but personally, I am going out to supper tonight and I cannot wait. Personally, I don't know. I feel like you need to have something to look forward to. Monday is great. And I hope you look forward to like our Monday Golden Hour Drip podcast episode. But I hope you also look forward to the Friday podcast episode because it helps the week go by faster. And all week I've been thinking, okay, Friday night, we're going out to eat. Friday night, we're going to have a blast. And hopefully we go and see the new movie Twister afterwards. But last time we tried to do like a dinner and a movie date. After dinner, I couldn't wait the 20 minutes until like the movie started. I was like, let's go home. Like I'm ready to tap out. I'm ready to take a shower, get into my pajamas and go to bed, right? Like that week, it was a really rough week. But this week, I'm like, yes, we're going to see Twisters. We're going to hang out. Like it's going to be fun. We're going to go out to supper. I've been looking forward to it all week. And I truly think that it makes life seem so happy when you can look forward to something, right? Like, oh yes, that's going to be great. Not to say we shouldn't appreciate each and every moment that we have and be in the present time, but also when you have that really long meeting, you're like, oh my gosh, like we got to get through this before we can, move on to the next thing. It helps in moments like that. Like I'll suffer through this. I'll be nice and happy. And then come Friday, I'm going to go do this. Or I have plans with my friends or this is what I'm doing or whatever. So I hope that you look forward to the Golden Hour Drip podcast episode. And if you do, please rate, review, subscribe, all the things. We're also on YouTube. So if you want a visual, if you want to look at me and you want to pretend I'm looking at you, I'll envision you right now. Okay. I see you. Good to see you, friend. Okay. We're also on TikTok. So, any clip, if you want to be notified when we drop an episode, it's Golden Hour Drip everywhere. And if that's not enough content, you can always follow me separately at Logan Lee Miller all across all platforms. Let's get into the Ask the Gals segment. We have some good ones for you today. I'm 24 and I'm ready to make a drastic change in my appearance. I've been the same for so long, I'd feel drab and overlooked. I'm not sure if I should cut or dye my hair, get a nose piercing, or a tattoo, or maybe all three. I just want to define my style and who I am as a person instead of how I look, which is the same as middle school. We all go through these phases where if it's not one thing, it's another. We want to change every single part of ourselves. We want to reinvent ourselves. And I don't know if this is like the push from social media or on movies, because I've also felt this before, especially like right before school starts up again, where you've had all summer and then you're supposed to like come back to school like even better than before. I always had the mindset growing up, and if you feel like you're being overlooked for how you show up or how you present yourself in appearance, maybe you can start with a small change of your clothing. Going shopping and buying something that truly makes you feel good in your body. And if you need ideas or suggestions, there are so many creators on TikTok, on YouTube, wherever, that show how to style yourself. Or, oh, you have this piece of clothing in your closet. These are 3 outfits that you can make with those things. Start small. Start with something that's temporary, right? Clothing is temporary. You can wear it for a day and decide you never want to wear it again, and that is okay. Try and get your nails done. Maybe do press-ons. And while that isn't necessarily like changing your physical appearance, it is showing how it is different on how you're showing up in the world. If you've always worn denim blue jeans, try a skirt. If you wear skirts often, try a pair of overalls, right? Like dabble and create and find that aesthetic. Cutting your hair or dyeing it is also like a low entry to shaking things up, right? If you have long hair, cutting it short. If you have, short hair, making it into layers or giving yourself bangs, don't give yourself bangs. Go to a hairstylist if you want to do anything with your hair. I don't know if you're feeling emotional, if something has happened in your life. What is triggering this change? Like why are you wanting to change? Why are you wanting to do an overhaul of yourself? Is it something like self-esteem wise? Is it a breakup? Is it like you failed for an internship? Like, what is spurring this change? Have you just always been the same and are just tired of it? Is it a boyfriend or girlfriend? Like, what is the reason that you're wanting to like change so much about yourself? But if you feel fine, you feel emotionally stable, your hair can be something that you can change. You can put highlights in it, and it's pretty easy to change it back if you don't like it. So say you get highlights and then you go back to your natural. If you cut it, you just have to wait for it to grow. You can get extensions if you want, but like those are all different ways that you can change. Now, a tattoo. You're 24. Okay. So you've been in this world for quite some time. And I think my advice would be different if you were younger, because tattoos, I have nothing against tattoos, right? Like my mom has tattoos. My lots of family members actually have tattoos. I personally don't have a tattoo because I am indecisive, and I feel like when I like something, I'm all about it, and then after a while, like I'm not for it. So if right now you feel like this is going to be a temporary time period where you're feeling like I want to change everything, I want to cut my hair, get a tattoo, all of the things, you might not necessarily like it in the future if this is like a temporary feeling. Because you listed 3 different things, like maybe I want to do this, maybe I want to do this, or maybe I'll do all 3. To me, it sounds like you haven't thought out a tattoo for a very long time, which you don't have to. You can go out and you can get one. It can be big, it can be small, but that's more permanent than cutting your hair and dyeing it. So if you're wanting a whole sleeve, to change your aesthetic because maybe you've been like a straight lace kind of girl, maybe you might not like that in the future either. So I would definitely think of like a couple different styles that you like and think on it for a couple months for a tattoo. Maybe get a temporary one, put it on, and notice how you feel with that on. A nose piercing. That was another thing you listed. Any sort of piercing is less permanent than a tattoo. If you want a nose piercing, go get one. See how it feels. If you want to pierce your multiple ear holes, I don't know, like a piercing you can always take out and it for the most part will heal up. I know I have a triple forward helix on my left ear. I've taken them out now, and I can see a little indent of where they were, but it doesn't impact my day to day, right? Like that's something I did when I was 16 and I loved it in the moment. It was so cool. It was so fun. But then I didn't want it anymore and I took it out and it was okay because it wasn't permanent, right? Like you can change. Yes, there's always going to be a little indent or a hole or a scar or whatever you want to call it, but it doesn't impact my future. So I definitely would take a look at all three of those categories. See if you can do it with something temporary that is going to give you the feeling of a whole new person, like your clothing. Maybe it's the style of your hair. Maybe you do cut your hair, instead of just like trying to do it all. And I would emotionally look in like, why am I wanting this change? Like, do I feel good about myself? Is it a self-esteem issue? Like where is this stemming from? Where is it coming from? So then you can better handle the fallout. Maybe you are just ready for a change and you want to try something different, but if it's emotionally tied to something else, you might be even more distraught or unhappy in the future because you didn't take the time to self-reflect and see what was actually going on. Hey, I hope that you're enjoying today's podcast episode. Just a quick interruption to let you know that the Golden Hour Drip podcast has a monthly newsletter. You'll find podcast updates, upcoming events and information, and bonus content. If you haven't already, click the link in the show notes and join today. Now, back to the show. I've been trying to post more and be active on social media. Not only is it fun for me, but I think my creativity is starting to grow. Last week, though, I noticed the shares on a few of my videos go up and then a few weird likes. Weird as in they are people from my high school, but they don't follow me. I think they're liking it to make fun of me, and now I feel sick. I don't know if I want to continue posting. What should I do? There's no better feeling than being outside of someone's joke, right? Like, if you have an inkling that people are sharing your content and might not have the most positive intentions with them sharing it, especially if they don't follow you, especially if like you're noticing the shares going up and you're thinking, oh my gosh, like my peers are sharing my content to their groups or whatever, and then they're making fun of me in their group chats. That could definitely be a possibility. Or maybe they shared it because your content is inspiring, it's fun, it's fun to interact with, and they've sent it to their friend. Maybe, one of them follows you, sent it to their friend and was like, hey, like this relates to you, or hey, like I think, isn't this funny? Like maybe it was funny content, or maybe it was like a banana bread post, or maybe it was a skirt you were wearing, or how you had your hair, and they were like, this is inspirational. And maybe their friend saw it and they're like, I'm going to like that pic because you're right, that is super, super cute. And then they didn't realize that they didn't follow you. Okay. If you have positive intent around like some of the things, it's going to make you feel better. Even if that's not the case, like even if they are actually being like mean and bullying and making fun of you, if you can have it in your head that they actually are encouraging you, that they like your stuff because they like you, even if it's not that, you are going to show up differently. I absolutely would not stop for anybody. No matter if they are sharing it or commenting, you can always block people on social media. You can filter your comments if they start to comment mean things. Start to filter it. I know you don't probably want to bring it to a parent's attention or, anything with the school, 'cause that can sometimes make it worse. If you do feel comfortable sharing it with a parent, or you do feel like it is getting to the point where you can't handle it, definitely talk to someone. I think that it is ultimately your world and it's your phone, and you should not allow anybody on a device that you own make you feel bad, right? Like when people follow you and if they're commenting mean things, block them. If it's their number, if it's inconsistent, make your stuff private for a while until you get out of high school. I promise you it's going to get better, but I would not stifle your creativity. And if it is impacting you mentally, get someone to help. Like there is so much hate in the world, and it can definitely feel like pigeonholed, like, oh my gosh, like I can't ever get out of this small town, like everyone is just like ripping me to shreds. But I promise you it will get better. And the practice that you're doing by like posting every day or being more social on your platforms, like it is going to pay off in the way that one, it might make you just happy in a way to make your mark on the world, and that's perfectly fine and that's great. I've definitely had my own content like shared in a way that was like not pleasant, like they were trying to make fun of me or they had an ill intent. I remember one time in high school, we were on the track bus. We had just got done at a meet and we didn't have very good signal, so I know like a lot of phones weren't working. And a group of girls, no, I'm sorry, it was just two girls. Two girls were scrolling through their photos. It was like on one of the girls' phones, and they were like swiping through old photos, right? Like reminiscing. They don't have service, so they can't be on social media. And I saw one of my Instagram photos screenshot, and it was in their camera roll. And I remember seeing it and thinking, oh my gosh. And I did say something. I was like, oh, what was that? Like, that was my photo. And they're like, oh, whatever. Like, they brushed it off. But I very vividly remember seeing my post that I had made like weeks ago. And I knew it wasn't like I was trying to look over their shoulder. like on a bus, like I was, sitting with my friend. They were on the other side right in front. I saw it. It was like that perfect serendipitous moment where I was like, these girls, and I was like friendly with them. I was like, these girls are not my friend. These girls are not my friend. And that didn't stop me from continuing to post on Instagram. Like, I am still going to show up how I want, but it hurt, right? Like, I was like, are you kidding me? Like, that is so annoying. So annoying. So I feel you. But I would not let that stop you. You have lots to say and you're here to show up in the world, and I would not put your creativity or your posting in a box, and it will get better. And I promise. And your content is going to make its way to someone who is going to appreciate it and who's going to need it and who's going to love it and want it, and look forward to seeing you post every day. So keep doing it. You got this. I'm on a budget until November to save for a family trip during Christmas, but my friends always want to go out. How can I say no but still keep my friendships and hang out? Great that you're on a budget. Oh my gosh, I feel like budgeting can be so hard. We get into the mindset, or whenever we put a restriction on anything, it almost like highlights it, or it's, oh my gosh, we can't do this thing anymore. And now it's like coming up more. Like if you are dieting, you're like, I need to go on a diet. Then, of course, in the break room, there's cookies, candy, donuts, all the things. Your boss is trying to pay for lunch for the whole workroom. And when you're on a budget, when you're trying to save for something, and it can seem like all these little purchases are coming up. Like, oh, I need this, I need that, I need to prepare for this, or whatever. Stay strong. Okay, tell your friends you're on a budget. Communication is key. If you want to keep your friendships and you want to make sure they're not going to be grumpy at you, letting them know by saying, hey guys, like, I'm on a budget. I can't go out to eat every week. This is very important to me. I have a family Christmas, vacation, whatever, in the fall, and I need to be allotting certain amounts of my paycheck to that. So that means my disposable income is going to be reduced. And if they're your true friends, they're going to understand that. You can also suggest free things. Going for a walk, going to the park, having a picnic by bringing your own lunch, doing the things that are free or very low cost, or even just like saying, I can only go out to eat like once a month. Everything else, I cannot go out to eat. Can we come over to my house? Like, can we just watch a movie? Like, find the other ways that are like super, super, super low. And maybe a lot, like a part of your paycheck, maybe even if it's $5 or $10, like I can go get a coffee with my friend. That is what I'm going to do socially this week. It's going to make me feel good. It's going to make my friends feel good. And then you don't feel left out, because that's like the hardest thing. Like when you are having to do something that your friends aren't doing, like you're on a budget, you're keeping the budget, you are working hard to stay in the budget, and it seems like, oh my gosh, now all of your friends just got raises and they have so much disposable income and they want to go to concerts and they want to hang out, and you're like, gosh, like I really wish I could go hang out with them. But stay strong in your goal. If you very specifically know that you want to do this excursion, this family vacation, think of each time where you decline and you say no and it hurts so bad. You're like, no, I can't. I'm so sorry. It could be $20 that you might spend on the meal. It could be closer to $40. Thinking of that $40, now what does that $40, where's it going to go? Like how is it going to impact my trip in Christmas? I'm going to be able to, I don't know what kind of family vacation you're going on though. Like if you're going to the mountains, if you're going to a beach, I'm going to assume you're going to, I don't know, let's say Hawaii. Okay, say you're going to Hawaii for Christmas. I don't know where you're going. Hawaii for Christmas. Okay, this $40 is going to go to, I'm going to be able to pay for half of an excursion of ziplining. I don't know how much ziplining costs. Maybe $80, maybe $100. I don't know. Like the things that you want to do on this vacation, think, oh my gosh, like I'm not going to spend this $40 to go to, this subpar restaurant and my food's probably going to be wrong anyways. Instead, I'm taking these $40 and I'm going to be able to swim with the turtles, right? Like get it in your head where it flips the mindset of this is going to be fun. This is not going to be bad. I'm saying no now so I can say yes later. And just have the intention of it's going to be okay for this period of time for you not to go out with your friends. if they are true friends, they're still going to love you and they're going to plan and hang out with you for low to little cost of activities. So have fun on your family vacation. Man, I don't know if you're going to Hawaii, but I wish I was going to Hawaii for Christmas. That would be so much fun. But maybe one day, maybe I need to get my budget right and saying no to hanging out with my friends. So thank you so much for listening to this week's episode. If you liked it, which I'm assuming you did, if you're still listening to me, please rate, review, subscribe, all of the things. I would appreciate it so much. We're on YouTube, TikTok, you know the spiel, you know the things. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.